hearing things, Schrager's tied in as well. So Zerline has him moving up to get Arvell Reese, who drops down to 6 because there's a lot of talk the Giants like Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State, and Schrager's got him trading up to get the best corner in the draft, which they need. Here's why you don't do it. There's two things about the Cowboys that are clear. The offense is excellent. No team in the NFL had fewer drives end in a punt than the Cowboys. They have a great offense. They drafted a couple of interior offensive linemen the last few years. They're both fantastic and getting better, like Pro Bowl level players. They got a good tight end, 2-star receivers. Their offense is fine. Their defense, opposing quarterbacks had 110 passer rating. So what they need is depth and secondary help. And just to prove it, Dallas has a lot better players at the high end than people give him credit for. I'm going to put their top 10 players out. Not that many teams have 10 players this good at the top. CeeDee Lamb, one of 3 receivers, 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Dak Prescott, 3rd highest rated quarterback, PFF. Quinnen Williams, 2nd highest rated interior defensive lineman last season, PFF, 4 straight Pro Bowls. George Pickens, 3rd in the NFL receiving yards. Tyler Smith, 3 straight Pro Bowls. Kenny Clark, he's one of 9 defensive interior linemen, 3-time Pro Bowler, that's going to give you 50 pressures the last 3 years. You got the best kicker in the league, Tyler Booker, unbelievable young offensive lineman, 3rd highest graded blocker among all rookies last year. You got Rashawn Gary. Again, there's a guy that gets to the quarterback and gives you 40 hits, 40 tackles a year. Best kicker. Jake Ferguson, only 2 tight ends in football, had 80 catches and 8 touchdowns last year. I didn't put DeMarvion Overshown on this list, but they have 10 really good football players, B to B plus to A. They don't have depth, and they're bad in the secondary. And you can suggest if they keep their picks, here's the players they're going to get. Exactly what they want. The second best corner, Jermon McCoy out of Tennessee. Big time needed corner. Second best corner. And then Oregon's got a safety, Dylan Thiemann. That's the best safety. It's a great safety class. So literally Dallas can address exactly what they need. Because when they moved off Micah, they get Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary. They got Quinnen Williams. They are good up front defensively. They're good on the offensive line. They're good at wide receiver and tight end. They got the quarterback. They got a lot of things going. We question the coach, and the secondary is atrocious. Now, the good news is the quarterbacks can be hit and miss in their division. Jalen Hurts, is Jaden Daniels healthy? Jackson Dart's a kid. So Dallas has the best sit-in-the-pocket quarterback in their division. But what the draft is going to provide with 2 first-round picks, exactly what Dallas needs. Why would you give them up? I mean, their argument is, well, we can go up and get the best corner. All right, you're still a mess at safety.
Yeah. I actually largely agree with Colin here in the way that I'm much more of a fan of getting a lot more talent on defense rather than concentrating that talent. That I mean, like that was the whole argument that they said with Micah, right? That he's he's great, but it's just like he's just one player. What can he do in the playoffs? Blah 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 blah. I'm much more of the camp of if you're going to trade up, unless your team is already complete and you're just literally one piece away or whatever. I'm of the camp that if you have multiple picks, but the situation that the Cowboys are in right now. I just want all the talent I can. I just want to keep acquiring talent, young rookie contract talent on defense. And then work from there rather than trying to concentrate said talent. When you really look at all the deep all great defenses, it's typically, don't get me wrong. There's going to be some defenses that have obviously truly special players, right? I'm not denying that you don't need some special. But the truly great defenses, you could just tell it's just oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my you're just looking at the roster and you're just going down the list and you're just no matter where they go with the ball, there's a body there. There's someone there. There's someone who gets the job done. We've seen this let's just even look at the most recent great defenses. And again, there's going to be some truly special talent on some of those teams. I'm not denying that. But when you just look at everything as a whole, whether it be the Seahawks, whether it be the Texans, whether it be the Eagles, whether it be the Chiefs, whether it be the Chargers, the Broncos, like, again, I'm not saying that you don't want some elite talent, but a defense, if you do, if you're not really kind of crossing your T's and then dotting your I's for the rest, rounding out the rest of it just falls off. It completely falls off. On offense, it's less so. You can get away where if you have at least like one superstar on there or one, A+, I feel as though that can carry an offense way more. As long as you have the right coach, as long as you have some protect right, as long as your O-line is good enough, right? It's like, well, you'll find a way to get the run game. Well, you'll find a way to use, your clears throat, elite wide receiver 1 to then feed off your tight end, your wide receiver 2, screen passes to the running back. Like you'll find those ways. Again, as long as your coach is good enough. And as long as your O-line isn't an absolute disaster. So, it's just like you can elevate more, I feel like, offensively. And having that home run hitter to me is a lot more valuable. But I'm of the camp where I like distribution of talent. That's what I've been saying for the Chiefs. I've been saying that a lot. And again, I do love superstar players, right? I'm saying go out and get a Jeremiah Love, go out and get the Saquon Barkley, get the A.J. Brown, whoever, right? Like so, I'm not anti that, at all. But it's like if you have two superstar elite wide receivers like George Pickens and C.D. Lamb, and you have a great enough quarterback Dak Prescott, it's like that is going to immediately do damage. Damage. You throw the equivalent on your defense, whatever mix and match you want that to be, that's not automatic damage. It's just not. It's not. It's not automatic. It's great and it's going to help you and you can build a great defense, but it's like it's not automatically game set match. It's just not. That was kind of what the Rams had going on last year. So, I really hardly understand where Colin is coming from. I think this defense was such a mess last year that it was really kind of hard to evaluate, especially because obviously they made moves in the middle of the season. I think you also kind of put the coaching staff in a bind last minute. You're like, oh, we're getting rid of Micah now and you're bringing in a new coordinator and there's kind of question marks how good of coordinator is he. I actually think, at least I thought that my opinion of him might be changing, Eberflus. I actually thought he was actually a pretty good defensive mind. And again, I just think last year was kind of a mess, so it's kind of hard to really know what the defense is. And I think it's harder to evaluate when things are a little bit messy from a roster construction standpoint, as well as a coaching standpoint. I think it's a lot harder to evaluate how good a defense is and even individual defensive players are compared to the equivalent on offense. At least for me personally, it's a little bit easier for me to evaluate. It's a little bit easier for me to watch and be like, okay, I know there's a little bit of mess or I know his numbers weren't that good, but I feel like he's a lot better. But like I'm just personally more comfortable, in that regard when defense. So, maybe the defense is actually a lot better than Colin's giving credit for. So, if you do trade up and get that guy that you want, like now you are set up to succeed. I personally just feel more comfortable having more talent to work with, more depth, more resiliency to people getting banged up, missing a handful of plays. I mean, do you know how many games that we've watched over these years and especially over these last few years where a defensive player just goes down for a couple plays and it has absolutely positively devastating consequences? Because when you're going up against a well-coached team and great quarterbacks, they just know how to expose that instant. Instantly. I mean, we've seen it happen with the Chiefs, the Broncos. I mean, like it's the Rams. It's the list just keeps growing. Oh, so-and-so's out. Even if he's just out for play, you see him like kind of holding onto his shoulder and he's on the sidelines and you're like, oh, what's going to happen? But then he comes back in 3 plays later and it's like doesn't matter, damage already done. Damage already done. I mean, we see that again and again. They point it out even in the broadcast oftentimes. You know, the commentators are always like, oh, that was so smart of Sean Payton to go right after so-and-so's back up. You know, it's like they did it in, I think it was also even in the NFC Championship. So, just having depth, right? Having just more bodies to work with also to me on defense matters tremendously. Tremendously. And if we really look at again, all these great defenses and how they really rose to the occasion these last few years and have really put their teams in positions to succeed, you know, again, they've had great players, but it wasn't led by, you know, the truly special elite like, oh my gosh, that's Myles Garrett. Right? Like, that's Micah Parsons. Like, it's like, even the Packers were able to survive. With Hack who did an awesome job with Micah going down, they're better with Micah there. No denying that. But, if you have enough talent to work with, you have the right defensive coach, you can do damage. You can do damage. So, that's just where I'm at with all of this with Dallas Cowboys right now, but, you know, I think, like I said, I stand by this. I think it's a lot harder just to sit at home and watch these games and get a strong sense of what a defense, you know, how good or not good a defense can be when things are, you know, a little incomplete and a little, you know, messy. So, but just want to emphasize, I'm going to be live streaming the draft. I should have said this earlier. I'll be live streaming the draft, wherever it starts, wherever you are in the world. I'll be doing it from the jump. So, definitely, please join. We did it last year and it was a lot of fun. I'll be doing the vertical stream, you know, so you're just going to go to the shorts or whatever, you click the profile, and it'll be there. I feel like that's a little bit easier and it kind of gets a little, you know, easier for you guys to kind of watch. It's not, kind of like a YouTube video itself, it's just more vertical. So, yeah, definitely, please check that out. If you're watching this video, maybe we're already live streaming. So, click the profile picture and let's get into it. It seems like there's going to be a lot of action in the draft or so they keep trying to tell us. And, you know, I can't tell if it's real or if it's just, you know, trying to get everyone to tune in to watch the draft because there's not a lot of quarterbacks going, and so they're afraid that people aren't going to watch it as much because the reality is the vast majority people, truthfully, really have no idea who Reuben Bain Jr. is or who, Sadiq is or Mekhi Lemon is. They really don't. They know quarterbacks. They know Fernando Mendoza, right? They know more people know Ty Simpson than they know, Jordan Tyson. I believe that to my soul. I know a lot of people watching this or who watch a lot of ton of college football, I get it. You know more than the average person, but the average person just knows quarterbacks. That's why all we ever talk about is quarterbacks, you know. I guarantee you there's so many Dallas Cowboys fans right now that can't name you 5 defensive players on the Dallas Cowboys right now. This is the way it works. It's just the way it goes. So, you know, quarterbacks are king, and I understand why. You know, it's a lot easier to kind of filter, you know, views through that lens. But, I'm actually really excited because I do think there's a lot of fascinating, great position players that seemingly all can have massive impacts on a team, and it is kind of a who's who. It is kind of a mixed bag of like, where is all these guys going to go? Who is it worth it to trade up for? Like, what's the situation? And again, all depends on where you're at as a team. I think it can make sense for a team like the Eagles to trade up or the Rams to trade up. Again, I'm not saying those AMS are doing it, but like they're just I understand where they're at from a roster construction standpoint and some of the moves that they have already made and now what they're looking to round out certain things, etc., you know, different Super Bowl timelines, different roster timelines, you know, etc. I don't think it makes sense for the Commanders to trade up. But, I could see, I'm trying to think if there's any other top 16 picks right here. I could see the Ravens. Again, they're not, I don't think they will, but I could see that making sense. There's certain teams that to me, it does make sense, and listen, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't come out and make a video if the Cowboys trade up and be like, oh my gosh, they just made such a big mistake. What are they doing? That wouldn't be my take either, but I just like the idea of the Cowboys having 2 first-round picks right now. And I think Jerry Jones has drafted incredibly well over these years. He's drafted incredibly well. Now, you get 2 first-round picks. So, just let him do it. Let him just use those picks. He's done a great job over the years. He's got 2 bites of the apple in the first round. I don't know. Draft defense, and your defense is now filled with young, ascending talent that you don't have to pay. Seems pretty good to me. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Dallas Cowboys? Do you think they should trade up? Are you hearing that that's actually likely, unlikely? That is what I've heard, too. I heard that reportedly, I know this isn't what they're showing right here, but it's been reported that it's the Cardinals and the Titans that are open to trading down and that the Cowboys being on the receiving end of that. A lot of people twisted that and said like, oh, that means the Chiefs are trading up. And that was apparently not true. This was reported by Jeremy Fowler, I believe. But again, all this stuff is so chaotic, so I don't know. Kind of just wait and see at this point. But, let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So, either agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. This really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.